Hey team, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Angular View Child decorator. Let's get started. Let's review some JavaScript. Notice I have H2, I have an ID H2 header. In my script, I say document.getElementById. See this H2 header? I'm going to assign that to the variable ID. That's this H2. And then I say id.innerHTML equals softwareNuggets. Let's run this. This is what I believe the goal of ViewChild is. Let's look at our first Angular 13 example. Notice that we're going to import component, ViewChild, elementRef, and afterView init. They all come from core. Then on our component, notice that we're using template and styles. And this is that character that's right above the tab character, and that starts it and ends it, and then it gives us multi-line. Now we're using our H2. Our H2 starts here and ends here. And notice pound H2 header. That's called a template reference variable. And notice whatever you call it here, that's what we're going to be using down here in the ViewChild. Now you'll notice this underscore H2, that is the name of my variable. And then colon the data type. Notice what we have to include elementRef. Now let's get back to this squigglies. What does that mean? Well, if I highlight this, notice it's saying H2 has no initializer. I know that's coming from here. Now I know of two ways that I can fix that. The easiest way is just to put an exclamation here, and that makes that problem go away. Now if I don't want to see that in my code and I want it to kind of work every time I use Visual Code, I can go up there and load up tsconfig JSON, and then notice here on line 9 we're putting in a new key, and this key is called strict property initialization as false. So what I'm going to do is let me save this. Watch what happens. File, save all, and then notice you saw it go away. So that right there, every time we're inside of this environment, we can just declare our variables. Now sometimes you want warnings, so you have to proceed with caution. Now we need to know something about the lifecycle hooks. Now the lifecycle is, how does this export class load? Normally we see implements on init, right? And then for this to work, where we're going to go get this value, we actually need to have afterView init, and that's going to give us the value. Now they say the value does get loaded early, but they recommend using this method to actually pick up the value. So I'm going to show you what my form looks like right now. And notice it says first example. Now first example is just this sample H2. Notice first example. Now when I uncomment this code and save it, that's going to turn into softwareNuggets, just like our example with just JavaScript. Let me save this. There you have it, softwareNuggets. And guess what, team? This is our first example. Our second example is kind of like a site login form. Notice you have a username and password. Now what I like to do always is when you come into this form, I like to set focus to the username so they don't have to click it, so they can just start typing. Now how do we do that? Well, what we can do is we can come down there. Notice my username ID is username. Get element by ID username, assign it to ID, and then focus that. So the next time we go run this, notice username by default is selected. Let's program up the second example in Angular 13. We're going to be using the ViewChild. Notice we're coming in there. My first text box doesn't have focus, so the user has to select that and then do typing. Let's make that automatic. Notice that we still have to import component, ViewChild, elementRef, and afterView init. They all come from core. Now we're using template and styles inside of our component decorator. Notice on line 13, our first field is the login. Notice the template reference variable, pound username. That's what we'll be using in the ViewChild decorator. Our ViewChild decorator is using username. This is our local variable name. It's called underscore login, and it is of type elementRef. Then notice here I'm saying ng afterView init. We implemented that. And now I'm going to say login native element focus. So the next time someone comes to our form, we'll have the appropriate text box selected. Let's save this and then run it. File, save all. Then let's take a look at our output. Notice the login is selected. And there you have it, team, the ViewChild decorator. 2 easy examples to get you started. Now, I have a playlist for Angular 13 with more videos. If you like this video, you should probably check that out. Now, if you have questions about this video or comments, please leave them below. That's all I have, team. I'll see you back in the next video. Adios.